point, we're going to finish the poems. We're almost there. And a couple weeks ago, we read this, the cerebellar hyperplasia, cats and kittens. Who runs your house? Who is that cat? What's the story of it? That is actually Jessie. Jessie, I fostered Jessie and her mother. And also her two sisters. And when one of our kitties passed away, we talked about possibly adopting one. So, my wife was partial to Jessie. You know, because Jessie has some eye problems, and she was worried that wherever she went, she would have still some eye issues, and she wanted to make sure wherever she went, you know, they would take care of it. So I was more partial to this girl. This is actually Jessie's mother. This is Magnolia. All right. And, no, it's a video. So, again, and so basically, I really liked her because Magnolia was the mom to the 3 kittens. Magnolia was found with her 3 kittens in a ditch with a prolapsed uterus. She was in really bad shape. So after she was fixed up and all, we were fostering them. So when it was time to figure out who was going to be the foster family, you know, my wife wanted Jessie, and I wanted Mommy Magnolia, because Mommy Magnolia, look how beautiful she is. All right. So we compromised. We adopted them both. So Jessie and Magnolia are you know, mom and baby, and they're actually thick as thieves. So this is the crew. This is 4 out of 5. You see Gallant, you see Jessie, you see Magnolia, and then you see Guinness. You know, I could talk forever about Guinness. See what else we have. So, this is Gallant. Oh, you're welcome, Packer Backer. Gallant, who I got FFRC on the TV. That is the main TV. That's the main TV that they're watching. And Craig, I am sure I got tons of scratches in it. All right, so we are going to read What Pet Should I Get? This is a Dr. Seuss book. We want a pet. We want a pet. What kind of pet should we get? Yeah, I got 4 out of 5 kitties. Smudge doesn't really come out too much. For Smudge is 15 years old. So, Dad said we could have one. Dad said he would pay. I went to the pet shop. I went there with Kay. And so we went in. I took one fast look. I saw a fine dog who shook hands. So we shook. So I said, I want him. But then Kay saw a cat. She gave it a pat. And she said, I want that. Then Kay said, now what do you think we should do? Dad said to pick one we cannot take home too. Then what do you know? We saw 2 other kinds. Now how could Kay and I make up our minds? Yes, our Smudge hides. She's done a little better now. She does come out every now and then. But, you know, whenever we have people over or somebody's working on the house, she hides. She doesn't come out for a long time. She's one of those types. She's 15 years old. I don't think she's going to be, you know, changing anytime soon. A pup and a kitten, they look like good fun. Now which would they pick? We could only pick one. Make up your mind. The cat or the dog? The kitten? The pup? Oh boy, it is something to make a mind up. Then I looked all around. I saw something with wings. I said, look at him. We could pick one that sings. But then, look over there, said my sister Kay. We could go home with a rabbit today. No problem. They're not ruining the flow. This is interactive. Then I looked at Kay. I said, what will we do? I like all the pets I see. So do you. We have to pick one pet and pick it out soon. You know, Mother told us to be back by noon. I could have done it. I could have, I bet. I could have said what pet I should get. But do you know what Katie did? I wonder if that's a little pun on Katie did. You know, the little... Do you know what she did? She said, fish, 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 fish. It may be a fish is the pet that we wish. Then I saw a new kind, and they were good too. How could I pick one? Now what should we do? We can only pick one. That is what my dad said. But how can I make up that mind inside my head? Make up your mind. Pick a pet fast. Pick one out soon. Mother and Dad said to be home by noon. The time may be now to make up my mind, but who knows what other good pets I might find. I might find a new one, a fast kind of thing, who would fly around my head in a ring on a string. But our house is so small, this thing on a string would bump into the wall. My mother, I know, would not like that at all. So maybe some other good kind of pet, another kind maybe is what we should get. We might find a new kind, a pet who is tall, a tall pet who fits in a space that is small. My mother might like this pet best of them all. If we had a big tent, we would be able to take home a yent. Dad would like us to have a good yent, but how do I know he would pay for a tent? So, you see how it is when you pick out a pet. How can you make up your mind what to get? But what if we took one of each kind of pet? Then our house would be full of the pets we would get. No, Dad would be mad. We could only have one. If we do not choose, we will end up with none. I will do it right now. I will do it, I said. I will make up my mind. That is up in my head. The dog or the rabbit? The fish or the cat? I picked one out fast, and then that was that. And that's the end of the book. You don't know which one they picked out. You see, it's in the little... So I don't think it was a fish. So next we are going to read The Grumpy Groundhog. The mayor stood before Groundhog's door and heard a rumbly-tumbly snore. "Groundhog," he said, "you're sleeping late. This is no time to hibernate." The people said with a shout, "It's Groundhog Day! Please come out!" I know, Nina. I feel like there needs to be a sequel. What pet should I get? Part 2. The Wrath of Khan. The mayor pleaded, "I'll ask once more." "Won't you open up this door? Please come out and greet your friends. Groundhog Day is here again." "I won't come out," the groundhog said. "I'm closing my eyes and staying in bed." Yes, the wrath of Kitty Khan. Oh, let me put my leg up. "I have an idea," said a boy in the crowd. He stepped to the front and spoke up loud. "Give him a paper to read in bed." "That's it," said the mayor, nodding his head. Groundhog opened his sleepy eyes. The Morning Times was a nice surprise. The groundhog took a very long time, reading the paper line by line. The people in town said with a shout, "It's Groundhog Day! Please come out!" "I see Asha. I see Magic." The mayor dropped to his knobby knees and begged the groundhog, "Come out, please." "I won't come out," the groundhog said. "I'm staying in here until I am fed." Yeah. "I know what to do," a little girl said. "Give the groundhog breakfast in bed." They served him food on a fancy tray, coffee and toast, and a flower bouquet. That's got to be Kiara. Yep, Kiara. Nobody talks like Kiara does. "Hi." Thought you were Sida.
Hey, stop.
Groundhog poured coffee from the pot. "This coffee is good. It's nice and hot." The people in town said with a shout, "It's Groundhog Day! Please come out!" "I won't come out," the groundhog said. "It's nice and warm in my cozy bed." A girl yelled, "Get him slippers to wear. His bedroom floor is chilly in there." "Of course," said the mayor. "Find him a pair. His little tootsies are cold and bare." Yeah. I'm doing a test. All right, let's see what happens. Oh my God, look at that. Interesting. What I'm doing, I put in good evening. But it's not coming up. Is that weird? I wonder why the word good doesn't let you come here. That's weird. I'm going to try this again. G. And let's do OO00D. EVENING. All right, there. That is weird. That's very strange. Okay. Well, you got all those little YouTube things. Maybe there's something. No, I just wanted to kind of test it because I wrote good evening. The real good evening, not the G00D. That's kind of weird. Okay. So anyways, find a pair. His little tootsies are cold and bare. Yeah, I never knew. I never knew that, MK. I wish those mods would stop deleting. No, I'm just kidding. I'm sorry. I need to tease you. Alright, Groundhog never had slippers before. He did a jig all the way to the door. He twirled and shouted, "Look at me! I'll step outside on the count of 3. Bye, Lucy." Lucy. The crowd yelled, "1, 2, 3, come out!" "Ta-da!" he said, looking about. No, you got to do the ta-da like rods in Monsters, Inc. Ta-da! Ta-da! Okay. He blinked from the lights and the camera's glare. A child said, "Give him sunglasses to wear." Well, Nina, I think you just answered that because, look, goodness came up. And good evening that Dutchie wrote came up. I guess you can't use the word good. That's very strange. Very strange. "Hooray!" said the mayor. "No shadow today. The chilly weather is going away." The groundhog said, "It's a wonderful day. I'll ask the children if they want to play." That's Mr. Goody Two Shoes. "Lucy, let's make a snowman," the children cried. Groundhog had fun being outside. "Good evening, Cindy." They made a snowman, round and fat. It looked very nice in the mayor's hat. Did you get CDOT in?
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
Really? That's interesting. Little idiosyncrasies of YouTube. At the end of the day, the groundhog said, "It's time for me to go back to bed. I had a fun day with all of my friends. When spring comes early, I will see them again." Oh, thank you. Thank you, Ms. M. Yeah, I had a good time in Dayton. I had a good time. It was fun. It's good to see all of my co-workers in person for once. You know, I never met them in person before, and here I've been working there for a year and a half. So, then we all went to a baseball game, the Dayton Dragons, the single A team. So the stadium is right across the street from where the office is. All right, next book is called The Mitten. A Ukrainian folktale adapted and illustrated by Jan Brett. Now, I believe we have read this before. And yes, the Dayton Dragons, the single A team of the Cincinnati Reds. Once there was a boy named Nicky who wanted his new mittens made from wool as white as snow. At first, his grandmother, Baba, did not want to knit white mittens. If you drop one in the snow, she warned, you'll never find it. But Nicky wanted snow white mittens, and finally Baba made them. And there goes my books. After she finished, she said, when you come home, first I will look to see if you are safe and sound, but then I will look to see if you still have your snow white mittens. So off Nicky went, and it wasn't long until one of his new mittens dropped in the snow and was left behind. Yeah, these are nice books, and this kind of has a nice little international cultural feel to me. A mole, tired from tunneling along, discovered the mitten and burrowed inside. It was cozy and warm and just the right size, so he decided to stay. Thank you, Cindy G. We're glad you're here. Hi, Derecho. Hi, Big D. Every time I've been here the last few weeks, Derecho's been sleeping, but now he's awake. A snowshoe rabbit came hopping by. Thank you. Thank you. A snowshoe rabbit came hopping by. He stopped for a moment to admire his winter coat. It was then that he saw the mitten, and he wiggled in, feet first. The mole didn't think there was room for both of them, but when he saw the rabbit's big kickers, he moved right over. Next, a hedgehog came snuffling along. Having spent the day looking under the wet leaves for things to eat, he decided to move into the mitten and warm himself up. The mole and the rabbit were bumped and jostled, but not being ones to argue with someone covered with prickles, they made room. Is that the one, the welcome room? Making that racket? I might have to take a peek. As soon as the hedgehog disappeared into the mitten, a big owl, attracted by the commotion, swooped down. When he decided to move in also, the mole, the rabbit, and the hedgehog grumbled. But when they saw the owl's glinty talons, they quickly let him in. And look at that cool little picture of all the animals in the mitten. And now the owl is going to be in the mitten. Thank you, Tina. I need to peek. I'm sure that's the cat. I'm not going to open the door. That's the cat in here, isn't it? The one that's yelling?
Yeah.
Oh, it's C-Dot.
That's yelling.
What a spoiled.
No, Azrael is quiet.
Okay. I don't even see. Hmm.
She made me up high. Why did I go in there?
Let's see, that is a
I cannot remember what I went in there for. So you're in there. You're in there. You're in there.
All right, I had to check. It's actually C-Dot that's doing the yelling. All right. Up through the snow appeared a badger. He eyed the Mitten and began to climb in. The mole, the rabbit, the hedgehog, and the owl were not pleased. There was no room left, but when they saw his diggers, they gave him the thumb. So that badger has the whole thumb of the glove. It started snowing, but the animals were snug in the Mitten. A waft of warm steam rose in the air, and a fox trotting by stopped to investigate. Hello, Brendan.
No.
Just the sight of the cozy Mitten made him feel drowsy. The fox poked his muzzle in. When the mole, the rabbit, the hedgehog, the owl, and the badger saw his shiny teeth, they gave the fox lots of room. Let me tell you, these gloves must be really well made.
Oh, I know what I did. Okay.
A great bear lumbered by. He spied the Mitten all plumped up. Not being one to be left out in the wild, in the cold, he began to nose his way in. The animals were packed in as tightly as could be. But what animal would argue with a bear? The Mitten swelled and stretched. It was pulled and bulged to many times its size. But Baba's good knitting held fast. Along came a meadow mouse, no bigger than an acorn. She wriggled into the one space left and made herself comfortable on top of the great bear's nose. Do you see the mouse on the bear's nose?
Good night, everybody.
Good night. The bear, tickled by the mouse's whiskers, gave an enormous sneeze. Achoo! The force of the sneeze shot the Mitten up into the sky and scattered the animals in all directions. I wonder if this was Bonnie's book. This is a cute book. I don't know if it was or not. I don't see her name on it. Usually she puts her name in it. On his way home, Nicky saw a white shape in the distance. It was the lost Mitten silhouetted against the blue sky. As he ran to catch his snow-white Mitten, he saw Baba's face in the window. First she looked to see if he was safe and sound, and then she saw that he still had his new mittens. And then there is the last book, but it looks like, doesn't look like the other Mitten is kind of stretched out a little bit. Oh yeah. So I took the cover off so that I can read this. Alrighty. So I think we're going to finish up today with some more poems from Something Big Has Been Here. Again, we've been reading this for a while. It's a whole bunch of poems. They usually have a twist in the end. So we're going to start with I Want a Pet Porcupine, Mother. I don't know if I read this last time or not. I might have read it, but that's all right. I want a pet porcupine, Mother, I said to her early today. She chuckled, It's out of the question. I wish you would go out and play. Then, Mother, I want a gorilla, or else I would like a giraffe. She answered without hesitation, Ridiculous. Don't make me laugh. Then, Mother, I want an iguana, a burrow, a boar, or a bear. She seemed to start growing impatient. She shouted, Get out of my hair. Then, Mother, I want a pet lion. I'm certain a lion would do. I'd take him for walks every Sunday to visit his friends at the zoo. You can't have a lion, she told me. Be glad with the pet that you've got. I guess we're just keeping the rhino. She always liked Rhoda a lot. Okay, next one is called Mold. Uh-oh, I don't know if you can see this, but we have kitty wrestling going on. Are they the cemetery kittens? Boy, they're a long way from the cemetery, aren't they? All right, mold. Mold, marvelous mold, alluring to look at, enthralling to hold. You are so delightful I can't help but smile when I nuzzle a smidgen of mold for a while. Slime, savory slime, you're luscious and succulent any old time. There's hardly a thing that is nearly as grand as a dollop of slime in the palm of my hand. Some think you are miserable, manners of muck. They can't stand to see you. You make them say, yuck! But I think you are fetching, begulling, and fine. Mold, you are glorious. Slime, you're divine. All right, next poem is called My Family's Sleeping Late Today. My family's sleeping late today, but I am wide awake and making all the racket it is possible to make. I'm rapping on a window pane, I'm hammering on a nail. I'm playing tackle with the cat and yanking on her tail. I'm racing madly through the house, I'm slamming every door. I'm imitating jungle sounds, I trumpet and I roar. I think I'll play the tambourine and pop a big balloon. They'll never sleep through all of that. They'll be sure to get up soon. All right, who's over here? Ugh. It is craziness here. Craziness, I tell you. I did not eat your ice cream is the next one. I did not eat your ice cream. I did not swipe your socks. I did not stuff your lunchbox with rubber bands and rocks. I did not hide your sweater. I did not dent your bike. It must have been my sister. We look a lot alike. Alrighty. Is he still carrying on? Well, that's C-Dot. Oh. Next is called Sir Bottomwide. Sir Bottomwide, a stalwart knight, was absolutely blue. He sniveled inconsolably. He sobbed the whole day through. He blubbered as he clanked about. He cried astride his horse. The teardrops flooded from his eyes with unabated force. They fell upon his pillow while he slumbered in his bed. They leaked into his regal ears. They drenched his noble head. Sir Bottomwide had caused to be a most unhappy night. His cast iron armored underwear was half a size too tight. Next is called The Moodies Have No Middles. The Moodies have no middles, though they're otherwise complete. Their faces are bass fiddles, which they play upon the street. It's apparent, if you saw them in their bands of 10s and 12s, that there's nothing in between them to connect them to themselves. The Moodies love to chatter, and the Moodies love to sport, despite a lack of matter to provide them with support. It's a mystifying riddle that's impossible to guess. How those Moodies with no middles can survive with much success. Right. We might finish this today because this. I don't know. We'll see. Next one is called The Barber of Shrubbery Hollow. Bring me a shrubbery. Nee, nee. Yeah. I'm the barber of Shrubbery Hollow. I need neither clippers nor comb. I never trim anyone's whiskers, nor manicure anyone's dome. My services aren't required. No customers come to my shop requesting a shave and a haircut, not even a bit off the top. I'm the barber of Shrubbery Hollow with practically nothing to do. I spend the day sharpening scissors or giving my shoes a shampoo. Hello, Cat B. I might as well go out of business and give up this boring routine. For why bother being a barber where everyone's as bald as a bean? Derecho. Next one is called Pickle Puss Pearl. I'm Pickle Puss Pearl, and I'm not very nice. I'm not made of sugar, and I'm not made of spice. My attitude's awful, my temper is vile. I have no idea what it feels like to smile. I'm Pickle Puss Pearl, and I'm nasty and sour. My wretched expression can wither a flower. It takes but a blink of my miserable eye for laughing hyenas to break down and cry. If I fix your face with my permanent frown, your stomach is liable to turn upside down. My stare is so cold it turns water into ice. I'm Pickle Puss Pearl, and I'm not very nice. All right. The next one is called My brother is as generous as anyone can be. My mother is as generous as anyone could be. For everything he's had, he's always shared with me. He has loaned me his binoculars, his new computer games, and his wind-up talking dragon that breathes artificial flames. I've been grateful for his robots, for his giant teddy bear, but not for certain other things I'd hope he'd never share. Though I'm glad he shared his rockets and his magic jumping rocks, I wish my brother hasn't shared his case of chicken box. Hi, Stacy. Zelda. Next is called I Lost My Invisible Puppy. Let me close this out here. Why aren't you closing? Hold on for 1 second. My little test here. Alright. There, that's better. So I lost my invisible puppy when we were out walking today. She disappeared into the bushes and totally faded away. My puppy is not too apparent. My puppy is paler than pale. She tends not to draw much attention. She wags an invisible tail. She wears an invisible collar. Her leash is invisible too. I fear that she's vanished forever. She's totally hidden from view. I'll miss her obscure little antics, her odd, indiscernible tricks. She chased inconspicuous crickets. She fetched undetectable sticks. My poor imperceptible puppy is probably still in the park. Perhaps if I pay close attention, I will hear her inaudible bark. Hey, next poem is called The Smoking Yokodokas. Yokodoka. We're the smoking Yokodokas. We sincerely need to smoke. We do not mind the slightest that our smoking makes you choke. Our malodorous miasma will assail you when we're near. I will irritate your nostrils and compel your eyes to tear. We're the smoking Yokodokas. We're not nice to have around. You can often hear us coughing. It's a coarse and raucous sound. All our teeth are brown and yellow, and our breath is always stale. We're especially offensive at the moment we exhale. Our appearance is unsightly. We have ashes on our clothes. Our aroma is appalling. You may have to hold your nose. But don't waste your time complaining. We contaminate the air. We're the smoking yokadokas, and we simply do not care. I think it's a cute little book. I really like this. This is definitely an old book because it still has my wife's name on it. Under her... Hold on for 1 second. Alright. Next is called Mosquitoes, Mosquitoes. Mosquitoes, mosquitoes, stop torturing me. Why can't you behave more considerately? You're bitten me practically down to the bone. Mosquitoes, mosquitoes, please leave me alone. Good night, Cindy. Mosquitoes, mosquitoes, you're hard to ignore. I itch and I scratch. I can't stand anymore. You've bitten my bottom, you've bitten my top. Mosquitoes, mosquitoes, I'm begging you, stop! Mosquitoes, mosquitoes, I honestly feel it's time that you went somewhere else for a meal. You've bitten me places I can't even see. Mosquitoes, mosquitoes, stop torturing me! Next is called I Saw a Brontosaurus. I saw a brontosaurus saunter through my neighborhood. This struck me as peculiar, as I heard they're gone for good. Its proportions were imposing. It was long and tall and wide. I ran home to fetch a ladder, then ascended for a ride. It was hard to sit astride it, for its hide was rather rough, and I had to ride it bareback, so there's no saddle big enough. It turned into the sunset, and we started heading west. My parents seemed uneasy, but the neighbors looked impressed. We squeezed between the buildings. We thundered out of town. The beast became rambunctious, and it bounded up and down. It ignored my agitation and my frequent sounds of whoa, and I almost bounced to pieces as we crossed a wide plateau. The brontosaurus tossed me in the middle of a plain. I landed in a wheat field where I fell against the grain. Though I treasure my adventure, I won't do that anymore. For that bucking brontosaurus made my bottom brontosaur. Oh, God. All right, let me just check this. Somebody from work. Hopefully nothing's going bad. Need to take a partial. All right. Next is called Rhododendron Rosenbloom. Rhododendron Rosenbloom loves the smell of fine perfume. She went to the corner store. There she bought perfumes galore. Buttercup banana peel, caterpillar chamomile, rose repugnant rat regret, vinyl viper violet, green farina willow thrill, dromedary daffodil, frangipani fingernail, gladiola garbage pail, sloppy guppy poppy pine, tulip turtle, turpentine. Rhododendron Rosenbloom bought 10 kinds of fine perfume. She could have purchased more. It was just a 10-cent store. I wonder how many more we have of this. There's not many. We might finish it. We might. I'm certain I sing like an angel. I'm certain I sing like an angel. I have a mellifluous voice. The moment I open my musical mouth, the multitudes ought to rejoice. I croon with melodic precision in tones unbelievably sweet. I wonder why people throw water at me whenever I sing in the street. Barb actually just left, Kat, so she was here. Probably, maybe 10 minutes ago she left. Next is called Why Do I Water My Flowers? Why do I water my flowers? Why do I turn on the hose? To bathe my beloved begonias and spray every beautiful rose. Why do I tend to my tulips and cover them lightly with dew? Why? I haven't come up with a clue. Why do I drench my azaleas, carnations, and sweet columbine? Why do I dampen the blossoms that grace my wisteria vine? It's foolish to water my flowers. I really don't know why I try. They're all manufactured of plastic and manage just fine when they're dry. Good night, Liliana. Next is called Super Salmon Simpson. I am Super Salmon Simpson. I am superlatively strong. I like to carry elephants. I do it all day long. I pick up half a dozen and hoist them in the air. It's really somewhat simple, for I have strength to spare. My muscles are enormous. They bulge from tip to toe, and when I carry elephants, they ripple to and fro. But I am not the strongest in the Simpson family, for when I carry elephants, my grandma carries me. My grandma carries me. Oh, that didn't rhyme. Next is called As Soon as Penny Goes to Bed. As soon as Penny goes to bed, she screeches and she cries. She tosses on her pillow, and she cannot shut her eyes. She whimpers and she snivels, and she blubbers and she wails. Poor Penny should not try to sleep upon a bed of nails. There goes that little twist at the end. Alright, next one is called The Wumpaloons Which Never Were. The Wumpaloons Which Never Were had silver scales and purple fur. Their wings were alabaster white. Their manes were black as anthracite. Their legs were pink and indigo with toes of bright pistachio. Their noses were a bottle green. Their antlers tan and tangerine. The Wumpaloons had crimson lips. Their tails were teal with flaxen tips. Their lilac eyes were flecked with dots as gold as summer apricots. Their necks were lemon striped with blue. Their necks were of a ruby. How nice to think they might occur, the Wumpaloons which never were. So, all right. Got about 15 minutes. I am probably going to head out of here in a minute, just a little early, just because it's a little warm and I could get overheated. So I'm going to leave you after the next two. So two more, and then we're going to call it a night. My fish can ride a bicycle. My fish can ride a bicycle. My fish can climb a tree. My fish enjoys a glass of milk. My fish takes naps with me. My fish can play the clarinet. My fish can bounce a ball. My fish is not like other fish. My fish can't swim at all. Oh, you're welcome, Dutchie. My sister ate an orange, and this will be the last one for tonight. My sister ate an orange. I'm astonished that she did. She swallowed it completely. She's a disconcerting kid. My sister ate an orange. First she chewed it for a while, then digested it entirely with a silly sort of smile. My sister ate an orange. It's a novel thing to do. Then she ate a yellow and a purple and a blue. So she was eating crayons. All right, so let me see if I got all my books. Because, thank you, Cat B. Appreciate that. One of the kitties knocked my books over. All right, everybody. Thank you, everybody. We'll be back to doing this next week. Same kitty time, same kitty channel. Have a good night, everybody, and I'll see everybody later. Bye, guys. Excuse me. Excuse me, can I leave? Thank you. Bye, Jamie. Bye, Jamie.